Here with Tyman Hayashi and Drew McDurmin, two seniors who are close to wrapping up their career here with the Golden Eagle football team. You guys both came in as a freshman, two of five Hawaiians coming in. I know Coach Richie Westman recruited all of you guys here. Just first off, talk about that whole process. I know it was kind of an interesting road to get to Minnesota Crookston. You know, such an obvious transition, Hawaii to Crookston, Minnesota.
Okay. Well, we started with back when we was in high school. We had this Oregon game, all-star game that me and Tyman attended, and through that game, Coach Westman used that as a recruiting pool for a lot of Hawaii people. So originally, I think they had 12 people from Hawaii that was going to come up here, and then eventually it dwindled down to 5 of us, which was the original 5 Hawaii people that came up. And then he came to visit us, and he actually talked to all of us, Coach Westman, and he sat down, which was nice. That was one of the only coach that I had come and visit down from Hawaii, or from the college down to Hawaii, and talk to us. And he gave a good speech and pitched about it. Let alone I didn't know anything about Minnesota or where it was, but I was excited to leave.
Yeah, basically the same thing happened to me. He sat me down at a beach in this little cabana place, and we just talked about Minnesota, and the first thing I thought was, where the heck is Minnesota? From Hawaii, that's definitely a big change. And he just told me about all the stuff, and we looked it up on maps, and I just remember seeing the college and then nothing, like outskirts. And I was like, well, this is going to be fun. Definitely.
Just, you know, obviously you had your first impression. What was different when you first got here, and just how did some of those older guys really help you guys adjust? I know Jeff Pryor, who had already been here about 8 years by the time you guys got here, was a big part of, especially being an O-lineman, of that adjustment to UMC.
Well, for sure, it was something different, that's for sure. And we had people like Sam Smith, Jeff Pryor, Matt Bravich. Like, they all took us under their wing and basically showed us like how they've done it for the last 3 years. So they're like, oh, well, we have a little behind the scenes for you. And, you know, we made good friends. We made our best friend, Nathan Cole, our quarterback. And we just always like went out to do something, went to eat at restaurants in Grand Forks, tried to go to movies as much as possible, try to make it fun and just have a great time.
I think same thing. Those 3 people were the biggest influence on us as upperclassmen to younger classmen. They taught us a lot about football and just being friends overall. And I think they're like friends that we'll cherish. And if they ever come down to Hawaii, there's very few people we would hold in our household when they come down. And I think they're good enough friends that I'd have them and take them around and stuff.
Did you guys know each other at all in high school? I know you were both at different schools, but were you familiar at all with each other? Or?
Well, the first time I met Drew, I think it was a combine at St. Louis.
That I don't remember.
And I just remember my friend being like, wow, that kid is so irritating. And I was like, ooh, and he pointed at Drew. That was my first impression of Drew. But we saw each other at like a couple combines, a couple camps, and then that's when we went to the All-Star Bowl for Oregon, and that's when I kind of officially met him.
Just talk about your guys' bond, especially once you got here, being obviously both from Hawaii, both offensive linemen. I'm sure you're forced to spend quite a bit of time together just for those reasons, first off, but hopefully you actually like each other too.
No, I totally hate it. No,
the first 2 years, yeah, we were here. We stayed in the dorms with each other for 2 years straight, and we didn't know much people. And when you're from Hawaii, it's a lot. It's the same all the way around. When you go out to different places, you usually have a close-knit bond with other Hawaii people. And I think me and Tyman and the other Hawaii people had that. And then as soon as they left, me and Tyman just hung out basically 24/7. But
I mean, roommates for the first 2 years of our lives. Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
You kind of started the IAEA pipeline there after you got here and kind of did some recruiting to get some more guys here. There's still, 3 of you that are still here, correct? 4
yeah.
That are still here. Just talk about what you're able to do that.
Well, I usually pick people that I know that have good personality. They're going to stick it through most of the time that I feel like they can. And then they're good athletes and just good people overall. So I knew a lot of people back in high school. A lot of the football team is really close, and we live near each other and stuff. So the first year, my next door neighbor, Ben Taliulu, I knew him really well, and I got him to get recruited. He was also a good player. He recruited Elijah Tausanga, and then they both came up, but eventually they left. And then I knew Kobe because I was a senior and he was a sophomore, and I kind of like helped him out in track and football, so I knew him really well. And then when I brought him up, he also brought Lincoln. And then last semester I had my childhood friend Jonathan come up, and then he wasn't able to come back up. But I just think it's good for them to give them an opportunity to come and explore more places, because football is a good tool, and a lot of people in Hawaii are underrated and they don't get enough recognition. So I try to help them by doing that.
You know, you guys are 2 of 5 remaining 4-year guys in this program. Talk about the bond that you guys formed. You already mentioned Nate, obviously being, you know, kind of West Coast guys, but then also 2 Minnesota guys with Mike Ma and Jake Christopherson as well.
Well, we definitely have a good bond with just the 5 of us. I mean, we struggled through together definitely for the last 4 years. So, like, definitely, it's just this lifetime friendships that we always keep. I'm currently roommates with Mike Ma and Nate, so that's why I'm very close with them. And I'm also close with Jake, which is, I don't know, the things we've done throughout the past 3 years, it just bonded us whole.
You know, you guys are winding down here, 4 games left. How will it be? You know, I know it'll be a little different for you not getting to suit up, Drew, but how will it be just taking the field for the last time, whether you're in uniform or just on Whitseth Field for the last time? What will be going through your head?
Oh, well, I didn't really actually think about that, and now I'm kind of tearing up now thinking about it. But definitely the last game will be very hard, and I will probably get very emotional. But, I mean, playing on the field one last time will be fun, and I hope we do the best.
I think it's just a surreal moment to know how fast these 4 years went by compared to high school. I think these flew by within a year. I can remember freshman year like it was yesterday. And I think even though it is going to be sad, it's going to be nice to at least finish out with the 5 people that we knew and were close with. And I know that my brothers on the football team, I'll always be able to talk to them and be close with them. So it's always nice knowing that.
Tyman, your family will be able to be there. Drew, I know your family won't then, but they'll be here for graduation. Just how special will that be for you to, Tyman, to be able to have them here? And then Drew, when they do get here for graduation, to see that moment.
Oh, it'll definitely be an amazing thing. My grandma's actually coming up with my whole family, so it's even more special. And, you know, they love Minnesota as much as they come here for like no reason. They have vacation in Crookston, Minnesota. It's awesome. But I'm glad they're coming up, and it's gonna be a special moment for us. Even though Tyler had it last year, like this coming year is gonna be great, and I just can't wait for it, honestly.
I think it'll be, graduation is always heartfelt for parents. They watch you grow up and try so hard. And for us, since we're away from from Hawaii, and we're up here in Minnesota, I think none of my parents traveled much. So then coming up here and to watch me graduate, being the only person from my immediate family graduating from 4-year university and being able to play football, I think it'll be very special, and I think a lot of tears will be made.
What are your guys' plans after you get the University of Minnesota degree?
Relax a little bit at the beach. Definitely try and get a job, you know, figure out life, and yeah.
When I'm done, I'm going to go home, work a little bit, get the loans paid off, and then I'm going to start traveling. Hopefully I can go to different countries and different places around the world. I'm looking at Japan right after I graduate, and I just look forward to being able to travel and experience my youth.
Okay. Thanks, guys.